what's happening here that's not happening anyplace else?
I mean, the competitive level starts at 4 years old.
Classic rivalry.
Hall of Fame type coaches, great personalities.
All three schools, though, they changed the game of college football.
Florida State Seminole.
Miami Hurricanes.
Florida Gators.
You want to dominate your opponents and you want to get stoned, make sure that you roll up.
What's going on, Nolan Nixon? CJ Wilson here with the Roll Up, here to bring you a special, pretty special logo talk. Pretty much just us conversating with ourselves, talking about what we have going on and things like that. Got a pretty big guest lineup going. Got James Coleman, known as 36, former FSU fullback. My guy, I'm going to speak about a couple things. We got a big tailgate that's going on in Orlando for the Oklahoma game. Also, we have Ingram Smith. Everybody knows who Ingram is, co-host of KnowlesCast and the CEO of the Battle Ends Collective. I want to speak about Battle Ends and more depth, just to get more information on that. I know it's new to FSU in general, and a lot of people have been asking. So what better way to get some answers than to get the CEO himself, Ingram Smith, on. And of course, we have Josh Newberg, recruiting analyst for national recruiting analyst, that is, for On3 Sports. Going to bring Josh on. He's familiar with FSU, of course, during his time with 247 Sports and also with the Roll Up Network himself. So we're going to conversate with Josh to talk about the recruiting buzz, portal, high school, 23, signing day is next week, and also leading to the 24 class. As we all know, a lot of recruiting jumps happen within that next cycle for winning seasons. And FSU is within that trend, so we'll see how that pans out. And also we have Stephen Ponder, the president and CEO of Seminole Boosters. So it's really exciting times within Seminole Boosters. We break down on the football-only operations facility tomorrow, actually, which is Saturday. So we're going to bring Stephen on just to chop it up a little bit and talk about everything in regards to the process to get to this point with the football only, because as you guys know, it's been a long process. Going back to the Willie Taggart days in 2018, when we originally thought things were going to get rolling, and to now, just what all, because I know athletic director Mike Alford is really creative. He's helped create a lot of other facilities, including the Cowboys facility. So we want to get some insight in regards to the different intricacies in regards to the facility and how different it is and just how it shapes up against the landscape. Let's go ahead and get things started. Let's go ahead and bring in James Coleman in. 36 was good, bro.
What's happening, man?
Chilling, man. If you guys do not know, this is James Coleman, former FSU fullback, one of the GOATs, man, one of my good buddies. James, talk to me.
Hey, man, just happy to be here, man. My third annual Gifts for Good Grades in the hometown. I did it in Duval out east, and then I did it on the south side. And I actually got to go back to my original elementary school today. So all the tailgates, all the stuff that y'all see me do in fifth quarter, that money is basically my money that I give to the community. So we did a really cool thing today and this year in general with fundraising. So it's dope. Speaking of tailgates, we got a big one coming in a couple weeks, right? Oh, yeah. That thing's getting a mind of its own right now, man. So we got right now we got 115 registered. We want to try to get that thing to, actually there is no limit. So but pre-registering helps us make sure that we have enough things for you people. So like when some of the complaints that people have had at tailgate. So if there's not enough porta potties, well, you didn't pre-register. No. There's not enough food. Well, you can't have 300 people register the day of a tailgate and expect to have the food or the liquor outcome, but we'll still have plenty of it. We've got 2 lots now, so they're diagonal from each other, so that you can see them across. But like we have 2 lots, we have 2 DJs. The goal is to have a barbecue lot, and I'm going to emphasize the goal. The goal, right? The goal. So like. Pre-registered, but if so that means y'all need to get y'all ass out right now by these tickets to get what you really want. If we get that 200, man, we're gonna have a crab tray lot. We have a crab tray lot, seafood boil lot, and then we're gonna have a barbecue, and it's all you can eat, which basically means until it runs out. And then we got plenty of alcohol, plenty of libations. We also have a lady extended us some parking passes for. She gave me 20 passes. She didn't give me nothing. I had to pay for 20 passes. But we're not giving no passes to nobody who ain't got no tailgate tickets. So right, you ain't just getting good parking just to get to the game. Nah, you better buy a ticket and hang out. Right, you got to buy a ticket, or go pay $300, $400, whatever it is. I seen it be ridiculous. But man, it's going to be former Knowles. Where I'm trying to work on my boy Roy, who played. Roy Williams played at Oklahoma. Trying to see who else coming in town, see who we can get. But you never know who's going to be there. You can see a famous comedian. He's going to be in town. That's my guy. So
word is he's supposed to be coming, man. He's trying to navigate the schedule out to be there as early as possible.
Yeah, that's just the biggest thing, man. But even if it's just us Knowles, man, it's always been a good time. If you missed the Florida tailgate, man, you missed really extremely good vibes, good food. If you didn't go to Big Three's Louisiana tailgate, from everything that I saw, it was hopping. And if you haven't, and for the people who said they came, the only thing I can't save you is if you don't know how to read a map. I even put a map on the thing this time, and I put an X marks the spot. Yeah, so it ain't no way you can miss. Ain't no way you can miss it. But we had about 300 people at my tailgate in Louisiana. So if you've seen all of that stuff, you know the energy is going to be there. And one of my favorite rappers is the rapper Jay-Z, and in the song "Show Me What You Got," he said, "When your boy Hov is back, you know the broad's coming out."
Mm-hmm. James, you still there? I think you froze a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. If you know my tailgates, it's going to be a lot of talent. And so if you're a recruit. So
recruit.
I always say baby oil, condoms, and bail money. Those are the three things that you need to make sure you bring when you party with me. Those three things can get you out of damn near everything that you're going to get into. So you'll either find love, rekindle your love, or you're going to leave heartbroken. One of the two. So one of the three. So. But it's going to be good, and it's the best $50 you'll ever spend.
Yeah, best $50 you'll ever spend. Like I said, if you guys missed the Florida tailgate, it was a epic event. I think that's going to just be times 10 in regards to this tailgate in Orlando. Hell, you spoke about LSU. Even the one we threw in LSU, we had around 300 people as well. So I feel like this one could be the tailgate of all tailgates. And also, we're ending the season in Orlando. We're going to begin the season in Orlando. So this is just the appetizer for what's to come in September. It's going to be a lot of momentum going with FSU during that time frame. Should be in the top 10 in regards to the rankings and things like that. So definitely come out and hang with us in Orlando in a couple weeks. And also once we get to the season in September for that opening game. Grab your tickets now. If you haven't, again, definitely grab your tickets now. The link is in my bio on Twitter. And also, James, are you there? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, let the people know where they can buy the ticket at for the tailgate.
Oh shit! You got it's through Ticket Tailor, the Ticket Tailor app. The best thing I can tell you is go to @BigGameJames_36. The pin tweet on the link is right there. You just click on that link and it's going to take you right to it. You buy it, it's going to, like I said, it's going toward basically that. I mean, if you think about what you're going to go drink, we only have top shelf liquor there, so we'll have some beer. If you got some requests on beer, just hit me up because I know we had somebody request Bud Light, so I'll make sure we're gonna have you some Bud Light because you asked for it. Just don't ask for stuff like Steel Reserve. I know that's bad. I don't need that kind of energy, or Natty Ice. We don't need that kind of energy at the tailgate because bad stuff happens with that. But if you go get a double shot of Hennessy at some of these places, that's $30 right there. And then if you go try to get some of this you try to go to Four Rivers Barbecue, you're gonna spend another $20, $30, and so now you already pay way more than what you're gonna get for everything else. Oh yeah, and on top of that too, we got some giveaways. So I got a Charlie Ward signed, encased jersey. We got a Derwin James signed encased. We got Sammy Smith just signed, and there's a couple other things that I got that we're gonna try to have that you get a raffle ticket. Just buying the tailgate ticket. So, and then there's other ways to get more tickets. So we just try and make this. This is the pregame to the true ignorance that we want to try to do on Labor Day. So whatever we don't work out this one, forgive us. We'll have it figured out by Labor Day weekend though, because that's when we really want to turn up Church in Naughton.
Most definitely. And guys, if you look look in the comment section, there's a link for the tailgate, so you can grab your ticket right there. Again, grab your ticket right now. Again, if you have alcohol requests, let us know. You want to grab your ticket right now at this time frame, because in a couple of weeks they're going to go up due to demand. And like James said, we want to make sure we have everything that you guys want: enough food, enough alcohol, whatever alcohol you desire. We can take care of that, but we can't take care of that at the last minute. So definitely grab your ticket right now. And also my pinned tweet is on the same link. You can grab your ticket there. It's at CJ Wilson 850. Again, at CJ Wilson 850. Go ahead and grab your ticket for the tailgate. Big ball game against Oklahoma as the Noles try to capture the 10th win of the season. And speaking of 10 wins, let's kind of take it back a little bit, because me and you were pretty much on the forefront in regards to how good this FSU team could be, right? If you remember back into spring practice, we went to a couple spring practices, and at that point in time, we were like, okay, this shit looks a little different, right? A little bit more bounce in the step. Size-wise, we looked a lot better. We just looked like we knew what we were doing in the spring. We saw Johnny Wilson, some of the transfers that came in, and I remember it was talking about how well he could move as 6'7", 230. We saw he could move excellent during that time frame. We saw AZ, the true freshman, he started catching our eyes. So we saw the changes within the team, and we pretty much said, hey, this could be a pretty successful season with FSU if things hold true. And here we are now, almost a year later, going to bowl season, getting ready for the 2023 season prep. So let's talk about that process in regards to, what we saw back then and what we see now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I'm critical. Never not liked Coach Norvell. I've just been critical over the fact that, the standard is the standard. And, people like to make fun or poke jokes at it, but I always tell, I didn't create that saying. I just profited off of it. That saying literally came from Mike Norvell.
James, you there? James cut out a little bit. We're going to get back to it. But just to kind of interject what he was saying, man, we saw the signs then in the spring, and I hosted some spaces and things like that. And also James spoke on in regards to how good this team could be. You there? All right, there you go. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically what I was saying is Mike is, I held Mike to the standard of what he told me. And that's what I held. That's all I can do is hold you accountable. And, obviously 3-6 wasn't it. 5-7 was better. But when I went there in the spring, I'm just like, okay, for the first time, I go out there and I walk and I say, could I play on this team? I'm like, man, these are some, like, for the first time, like, the line actually looks like they got some meat on their bones. Okay, man, 6'7" wide receiver. I ain't never really seen that since Greg Carr. Okay, that's different, but he's thicker than Greg Carr. All right, the boy with no hairline. What's his name? With the Dibby hairline. From Oregon. The boy from Oregon, number 4.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael. I'm like, okay, he got a little something. I'm just looking at the guys, and I'm like, all right. And then we were there that first practice, short practice, and I was like, all right, man, And I tweeted. I said, I don't know what to tell anybody, but this looks different. Yeah. And then next thing you know, it goes viral. And everybody's like, well, James ain't going to BS you. James has been like, if James saying this. But what was funny is everybody else was saying how bad it looked. And I'm like, and I'm looking back there at the baseball field. I'm like, how y'all see? How do y'all know how bad it looked from there? So I'm like right here. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like, let me go bring my son, because I think Trey is the realest person on the beat. Trey minces no words, doesn't care about anybody's feelings. He just tells the truth. I love it. And Trey's so truthful that when he saw the first Jacksonville practice, he asked me, Dad, is this a high school team or is this a college team we're going to watch? And he's seen it all: high school, college, and pro. And for what I do for a living. So he went there and he was impressed. He was almost intimidated, and he smiled at Coach Norvell. Like Trey
never
Trey
smiles.
has taken 1,000 pictures with Coach Norvell, ain't never shown no teeth.
I haven't seen him smile, period.
That Trey was all teeth with Coach Norvell that day, and then he went and dapped up his homeboy, because Trey was the first believer in Coach Fuller. Nobody believed in. I told Coach Fuller, if nobody else believes in you, just know my oldest son thinks you're the best coach ever. Like he loves you. But but that day was a lot of banging and a lot of coverage and a lot of competition. And I was like, okay, well, that feeds over to it in verse. I saw verse, and even seen D-Mac. I saw guys making moves that I had never seen do things before. So that's just kind of where I come from. It just looked different. It felt different. And then when you saw it I saw it again in the fall. And that's when I started making I think you saw me make my predictions early, CJ. I was like, yo, we win in 8 out the gate. I said with the ceiling of 10. And you know what's crazy is, and I also said this, which I knew it wasn't going to happen, but if we would have made a run, you know, we you don't know where we could be at. And
yeah, we said, I think after that LSU game, hell, we was talking behind closed doors, just looking at the schedule, and it could have shook out if we did what's supposed to do in a couple of games. We started looking for shit in Charlotte, right? Okay, this team can compete and play for a championship in damn Charlotte. That's exactly what we said at that point in time.
I mean, if Fabo doesn't get hurt, if Jared Verse, I mean, just the coolest thing about Florida State right now is that, you know, if you look at the 5-7 season, you could go and say, man, what could have happened? Like, yeah, we could have won this game. We could have won that game, but we also could have lost to Syracuse. We could have lost, you know, to Boston College. We could have lost a lot of games.
Miami.
This season, you know, you could come back and for fans who want to troll against LSU, Florida State beat LSU's ass for
up and down the
5
field.
minutes. Those last 5 minutes, and then Mike doesn't get cute in the end zone, the game is over. Just give it to the damn fullback like you did earlier in the game, and you win it, and you win it 30. Was it would have been 31-7, I think, at that point. So there's that. Excuse me, 31-14. There's that, and then you've got you've got, you know, a couple other games that might have been close. The Florida game, you can argue. Shoot, to be honest with you, I'll take that. If Florida wouldn't have, but outside of a couple games, Florida State won very dominant, and you still have the, man, if we could have, if George Travis trusted his legs more, do we score a touchdown against North Carolina State? If our defense makes the adjustments like in the second quarter that they made in the second half, do we beat Wake Forest? Because we just ran out of time against Wake Forest. Clemson, probably, you know, Clemson might be the only true game that I see that, you know what, we still could have won. But no, excuse me, Wake Forest. I say Wake Forest, but we ran out of time against Wake Forest. But it's fun to play the what ifs as opposed to, oh, well, man, when we get these 2 5-star recruits, everything is going to be great. We off-season champions. Now, we're saying, man, we move these couple chess pieces a little bit different. What could have been for our 22 season, and holy crap, everybody that's important comes back for the 23 season, and now we add to that. And that's what I truly like about Mike. It's not just about recruiting. It's about recruiting the right pieces and the body types to be able to have a foundation that has sustained success with guys who understand how to build a program. Look at Texas A&M. Look at Miami. Look at a lot of places. Recruiting extremely well, getting after it, getting 5 stars. But the problem is that they don't have anybody with the maturity to be able to lead.
Correct. And it's crazy because we definitely brought it up and said it then, and that's a really good point. So let's fast forward into 2024. Well, lost James for a second. But again, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's 36. Let's fast forward to like I said, we bring back a lot of people from the 2022 season going to 24. Let's real quick before we bring Ingram in. Let's talk about what you expect within the 24 season from a preseason aspect. I know we're still within the 23 season, but it's a lot of buzz momentum moving over with 24 with all the announcements we had coming back. So let's just talk about that real quick before we move on and bring out Ingram in. What are your expectations with 24, and how do you feel like that season can shake out within 24? Because you got to remember, the ACC is getting rid of the divisions with the Atlantic and Coastal. It's just the 2 best teams. Standard
is the standard, and the standard's over everything. You can reduce your expectations, but it has to lead you to the standard. So what I tell people is like, if you I got a mortgage and if you can't pay that mortgage, you can go to the bank and say, hey man, can I put something on? And they'll let you do that with the expectation that, all right, this is only a month or 2 thing, and then you're going to get back to paying, but you're still responsible for everything that you owe. So I say that to say is the standard is competing for championships. I'm not going to jump and say let's compete for a national championship, but the goal for 2023 for next season should be to be in Charlotte. We should all be so confident that we're booking hotels, pre-booking now, for us to be in Charlotte to have a good time, probably playing against Clemson. So that would be my 2 cents.
Agree with you 100%.
Guys, can you hear me? Am I part of the show?
Are you there? All right, perfect. All right. Real quick, guys, if you have any questions, you can definitely hit us with the super chat. We'll get those answered by any guest that's on. If you have any questions, we can get you guys in the super chat. Throw it up on the screen. Get your question in. We'll throw it up on the screen and get that answer for you. If you guys got any questions in the super chat, again, like this video and subscribe to this channel. 36, man, I appreciate you. Again, let the people know where they can follow you at and what we got going on for Orlando in a couple weeks.
At Big Game James _36 on Twitter and on Instagram. At SportsDen _live on Twitter and Instagram is my media group and my show stuff where we talk about sports and life in general. Check out the big tailgate against Oklahoma. We want to have as many Seminole fans there. Listen, we're probably gonna have TVs and projectors out there as well. I know that ticket's a hot ticket, but you know what? Be in the city. Let's change the way we consume the product. You was gonna watch it at a bar anyway. Why not come watch it with a whole bunch of Seminoles, get geek, have a couple good beverages. Don't go spend $100 at that bar. Come spend $50 with me and CJ. Get liquored up, get good food in you, get good vibes, good music, watch the game, and then when we win that game against Oklahoma, get that 10 win, we're gonna turn up again on Church Street in Norton, man, and having a good time, man. It's the end of the year. Let's end it on a good note. Hope everybody's 2022 was badass, and we're gonna enter 2023 kicking ass, taking names. All right, man.
Most definitely appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, that's James Coleman there, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have Ingram Smith on. Ingram, what's going on?
What's up, CJ, man? I'm sorry I'm a little late, but ended up being a working Friday evening here, and I'm not trying to tease anybody with any kind of player. It doesn't have anything to do, but made a whole lot of progress regarding being able to more officially embrace the relationship with the university, and hopefully something we'll be able to announce officially here. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit late.
Okay, most definitely. I appreciate that. I know talking in the conversation we had that you were on your way to Tallahassee, so we can put two and two together with that. Again, we have Ingram Smith here. He's the co-host of the KnowlesCast podcast, and also he is the CEO of the Battle Ends Collective, which has been taking the timeline by storm within the last couple of weeks or so. So Ingram, I want to bring you on to just talk about Battle Ends itself. My bad. They say it's an echo within. Even whenever I'm speaking, could you mute and we can go back and forth with that?
My bad, man. Absolutely.
Okay. Again, we have Ingram here. So let's talk about the Battle End Collective and what it is. I know a lot of fans wanted to hear about it and just get, a close-up synopsis of what you guys want to do. It's been new to the timeline, and it pretty much is taking over. So can you give us a backstory in regards to Battle End? First of all, how you got to create Battle End and what was the process in regards to that, and what Battle End is, and the goal for Battle End.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate you letting me talk with your audience tonight. The Battle's End is a collective where people closely associated with our long since supported Florida State just wanted to create a avenue in which they could be competitive in the NIL space and create marketing opportunities that are reflective of the passion that this fan base has and the uniqueness that it has. So I've got to be careful with my wording here, so pardon me for moving the conversation on, but we want to be a great representation of what we think is one of the best fan bases in the country. And this is not a country club, it's not a secret society. Everybody will have availability to join at any given capacity. And we kind of got in a situation where we just wanted to do this independently and knew that we didn't need to secure funding, and we have only so many issues that we think we can focus on at a time and execute at a high level. And we knew what our most prominent focus was going to be coming out of the gates. So it's a lot easier to to focus on retention if you're not also out there trying to solicit donations and everything else. But we want mass involvement. We eagerly look forward to it, and we know that there's a lot of people that are excited to embrace what the future looks like, and we hope to play a small part in making it as bright as possible.
Most definitely. Real quick, I have a super chat we need to address. What's up, Falk? How are we looking with what's up, Falk? How are we looking with Hussey visiting Colorado? Appreciate you guys. You're doing a lot, boy. I think we're in a good spot with Hussey right now. I really don't foresee Colorado being a threat at this point in time. I think he's just taking that visit as a courtesy with some friends. I think he have a former teammate that's on the Colorado roster and a couple teammates that's taking the visit as well. So I don't. Of course, it's Deion Sanders, so you got to be worried a little bit. But I think FSU is in a really good spot with Hussey currently. So yeah, Ingram. So let's just talk about how did you get to this point in regards to creating this collective? As a CEO, I guess you just had to sit back and feel like, okay, I feel like we can help FSU in certain aspects and what you can contribute to FSU in that regard. So how did you get to this point, and how was the collective created in general?
So, I mean, CEO is a nice title, but I'm really one of 6 or 7 people who has been working collectively, pardon the pun, on this project for 4 or 5 months. And it's a lot of different people who have strengths. And, we're fortunate that our strengths kind of pair well with each other. And certainly some are able to provide capital and the ability to operate at a level that gives us the freedom to, focus on what we think is most important. So the best part about this process has been able to work with a group of people who have, shared values and as far as what their expectations of the experience that we can all share together, and making sure we're meeting those expectations as frequently as possible, and the role that we can play in that. So it's impressive. CJ, I've been doing, that we were leading up to this project for about 4 or 5 months and working on it all the time. And really, I've got to say, nobody really ever caught significant wind of it up until we had to announce it. So I'm really impressed with I'm more than impressed with the level of people that I'm able to work with, and we're fortunate to be able to just say, hey, here's an area that we think we can help, and we're gonna throw our hat into the ring, and you guys can judge how good of a job we do.
Yeah, as you should be impressed, because within the last couple of weeks, you guys have taken the timeline by storm. There's been a lot of positive buzz. You guys have been doing a lot of work. So I know you said it earlier, just, judge by the work you guys are doing. We're definitely judging by the work you guys are doing. There's some impressive stuff so far. Let the people know what they can do to support Battle Ends anywhere as far as donations. I know you said donations. Is it something that's needed? Publicity, just more engagement with the players. Let the fans know what they can do to help Battle Ends out.
Yeah, absolutely. In the next couple of weeks, I don't know that, requests or donations are immediately around the corner. We've certainly got some other things that we've got to focus on, but there will be an avenue for broader participation made available shortly, and we look forward to that happening. But in the meantime, you can support the student athlete. A lot of this NIL value is algorithmically based, and it is a easy way for you to help everybody by pressing a like or retweet or whatever else. I mean, it is impressive the amount of response that we've gotten, and it's great in that it's supportive of us, and we certainly appreciate that. But it is wildly supportive of these kids, and it helps them, not only for us to be able to benchmark some great socials when we talk about creating marketing opportunities, but also for these kids to say, yeah, I put out a tweet 2 weeks ago that got 2.1 million impressions, or I'm just throwing out hypothetical numbers there, but it's an opportunity for everybody. And if we could all contribute to a cause by only clicking like and retweet, how lucky would we be? So it's not too large of an ask, in my opinion, and it is massively important. So.
Most definitely. Well, Ingram, it was great to definitely have you on. Let the people know where they can follow you at or where they can follow Battle Ends at and do anything in regards to help that engagement rise.
Yeah.
Did we lose them? All right, I think we lost Ingram. In the process of trying to bring Josh on. Again, if you guys like this video, and subscribe to the channel. Again, like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys hit the super chat. I'm pretty sure you guys may have a lot of questions for this guy right here. We have Josh Newberg on, national recruiting analyst for On3 Sports. Josh, how's it going, my friend?
Yo, man. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. Proper intro.
All right.
Glad to be back, man.
That's on the roll.
We gotta let the drummer kick though.
Classic vibes.
The return. How you doing?
Pretty good, Josh, man. It's good to have you on, man. We had a lot of conversations leading up to this, man. I'm really happy to have you on.
Absolutely, man. Good to be here. From Nashville. I almost missed it because you said 6:30.
Oh, that's right. You're Central Time. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I should be, more hip to that at this point, being in Nashville now. But yeah,
how is it relocating from the Tampa area to Nashville?
It's been crazy. I lived in Florida my entire life. The only time I lived in Tampa and St. Pete. The only time I didn't live in Tampa or St. Pete, I was in Tallahassee for 5 years. So moving to Nashville, I feel like I finally live in the South, oddly enough. I didn't feel as Southern as I feel now because living in Tampa Bay, especially, anything really south of I-4 is more Northern than Southern. Mm-hmm. The Panhandle's very Southern. The interior parts of Florida are very Southern. But Tampa, Orlando, Miami, those parts of towns are not. So it's been a little adjustment, but I work a lot. I'm in the office 5 days a week shooting content for On3, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a grind, but it's a different grind.
All right, most definitely. Last thing before we get into the juice of it, how are you liking just the Tennessee or Nashville nightlife? I heard it's pretty fun up there in regards to just hanging out, music, good food, good drinks. How is just the night? Well, not necessarily nightlife, just the city life of Nashville in general.
It's cool. It's different. Broadway, I'm not a country music guy at all, but there's a ton of live music down there. Broadway it's great because there's so many tourists that come to Nashville. There's so many tourists. Same with Florida, but at least in Nashville, all the tourists come here to do one thing. They come here to go to Broadway. So like living in Nashville, you don't run into the tourists. Like living in St. Pete, like the tourists were everywhere. They were at your restaurants. They were at the beach. They were downtown. Like here, if you want to mix it up with some tourists, go to Broadway. But Broadway is fun, for the occasional session down on Sunday Fun Day or something. College football. It's a really fun college football town.
Really?
Well, I moved to Nashville, right? The first time Tennessee's good in 23 years. So all the Tennessee fans came out. So there was a buzz, but Nashville is such a melting pot of people. I bring the Florida State vibes. And you know what is really funny around here? There's a Tennessee Florida State plate.
Really?
Yes, there is a Tennessee. I don't know how they got it done. I don't think there's any state but Florida. Maybe there's one other, but Tennessee, you can get a Florida State plate.
Really? That's interesting.
So I see them around here.
Small world. I guess there's a lot of no's within the Nashville area.
Who would have
got
thought?
a super chat to address. Shout out to KP. So that boy Berg is back on the roll up, man. A lot of people happy to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be back. I just want to say being on the Big Three roll-up was one of the most enjoyable things I've ever done in my career in terms of just creating what we wanted to create. Thinking back to 2016, doing a podcast, not that we jumped in when podcasts first started, but it was definitely a different grind. I mean, look at us now, we're on YouTube. The game's completely changed from where it was in 2016, but to be able to come on to the Big Three roll-up platform and just kind of get out of the box of what I was doing. I started 24/7 Sports in 2010. So it had been 6 years coming linking with Corey and Kev on a project that they had already started. I had so much fun, and it probably I was just getting bored at 24/7. I think covering Florida State for 6 years. I think it's the only reason I was able to cover them for 12 years is because I had this outlet. I had these people that we really enjoyed going on every single week. We enjoyed talking to the people. everything was like a first of everything. You know, the interviews that we had, the Sunday shows that we did, everything was so much fun. And I got so many great memories of being on the Big Three roll up.
Yeah, most definitely. Just seeing you guys and the trailblazers that you guys were at that time, and to see what the game has came to now, definitely contribute a lot of that to what you guys did, especially within the Florida lane. I really believe the original Big Three roll up pretty much set the tone for everything we see now as far as the podcast lane. A lot of people are trying to jump in and throw their name in the hat, so to speak. And I believe because of you guys that a lot of people made that possible.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And to all the haters that think I've changed, I mean, look, the hair's still there. I mean, the hair's still there.
Most definitely.
And you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing with my job at On3. Like I took a while to be able to do the Big Three roll up. I became an expert at what I was doing. I became, you know, one of the best at covering Florida State recruiting. So I just switched jobs, man. I got to learn how to look into a camera and how to act before I can let it all hang out. Like I got to become an expert, and I will, you know, like I'll do this. You know, this will be the next 10, 15 years of my career. And I'm 3 months in, man. I'm 3 months into this new job. So it's been a lot of fun. And just for all you guys watching out there, just know that in time, it'll all come out.
Yeah, most definitely. You still do have a lot of support within Knoll Nation. I know we love the videos you put out, especially when it's FSU related.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Most definitely. Well, speaking of it, we're going to get right into it. We have a super chat already. William McMillan, shout out to the super chat. Say, do we get Cypress?
You got to love the fact that he's on campus. You got to love the fact that Florida State can't recruit DBs from the high school level, but damn, can they get some portal players? Obviously, you know, coming on the heels of Travis Hunter decommitting, high school DB recruiting just hasn't been elite. You know, it's one position that Florida State had always, even in Jimbo's lean years, like we got Derwin James and Levante Taylor.
Even Willie Taggart years, that was pretty much the recruiting was lackluster in a lot of areas, but the highlight was DB recruiting, right?
Yeah. So, you know, hey, the thing is, it's always something. Even in Jimbo's years, like it was, we can't ever recruit offensive linemen. So there's never a time when your team is just hitting on all cylinders recruiting. Now it just happens to be DBs. And guess what? We're lucky because we get a transfer portal. And one of the best DBs, I believe the number one ranked DB in the On3 transfer portal is Fentrell Cypress. So getting him on campus before the dead period starts is crucial. Now, we don't know if he's going to delay this decision and take it all the way. I'm sure the guys down in Tallahassee, everybody reporting on it, we'll talk to Fentrell after the visit ends. But it looks good that he's on campus. It looks good that Florida State has a major need. It looks good that Florida State is hot in the transfer portal right now, closing deals, whatever it is they're doing in the transfer portal, they're getting it done. We've seen them kind of pussyfoot around and lose guys, kind of drag things out into January when they're recruiting. It never seemed good when a guy would come to campus and delay his decision. It seems like Florida State is at their best when they get a transfer portal prospect on campus and they just close the deal. You know, these long ones like the Mims scenario, they never play out well in Florida State's favor.
Right. Agreed 100%. And speaking of, well, we got another super chat. I'm sorry. Shout out to Lot Boy again. How we looking for Falk? Happy to see Berg return. If I'm not mistaken, I think Falk did. I think Zach broke it. Shout out to the intern, right? That Falk is going to be on campus for an unofficial visit instead of taking the official visit to Auburn. Berg, what are you hearing in regards to Kevin Falk and his commitment?
Did he show up this weekend? I know he was reportedly going to be on an unofficial to visit Florida State. So it's Friday evening. I don't know if he showed up, but if he shows up and that's the plan, then I think it's a lock. Auburn wasn't the only team that really made a run at Falk. Tennessee also did. And Tennessee did it at their peak. They did it like 2 months ago when they were ranked at the top of the polls. And Keldrick Falk kind of shut that down. And what I heard was, despite Keldrick Falk getting that attention from Tennessee, it was the relationships that he had at Florida State. And I know this has kind of been the tone the whole time, even though it's shaky. I mean, it's shaky because he's such a good player. He's in the state of Alabama, and one of the in-state teams is recruiting him. So this is like one of those good problems to have running up to signing day, the fact that we're taking one out of the state of Alabama that maybe we don't deserve to be taken out of there.
Right, agreed. And that's another thing. So a lot of people were worried in regards to, okay, You have Edwin Joseph. He's still being courted. You have Hussey that's still being courted. A lot of the players are still being courted. But if you want to recruit at a certain level, a certain caliber of player, that's going to go into signing day. You're going to have these type of battles in regards to every staff, every coach around the country making that late push until the actual ink hits the paper.
Yeah, definitely. I think that like sitting around watching it from a national perspective, it's been a little bit different. You know, Florida State, they do it their own way. Mike Norvell has been very profitable in the portal, even though I call it living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, it's a hard life. Like bringing in a Jermaine Johnson to put in round one output on the field, only to have to replace him the very next year with somebody that's equally as good. And then Jared Verse might leave, and then you got to replace. That's what I mean by living paycheck to paycheck. We all do it. And we can get by. We can live a great life living paycheck to paycheck, but it's hard. And ideally, so here's the thing. Mike Norvell doesn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. He doesn't want to be bringing in 10 to 13 transfers per year. He wants to get these longer value prospects, meaning from the high school level, because you get them at least 3 years. You want to get them. They kind of set the culture too. And then Mike Norvell is going to dabble in the portal. It is, I think if he could do it the way he wants to do it, he's adding maybe 3 guys in offseason from the transfer portal. Just kind of cherry on top, dotting the I, crossing the T with a guy here and a guy there. It's hard to live 10, 13 transfer portal prospects per offseason. That's a lot. Agreed. So, and then the other thing is like, people want to say, I'm just going off on rants here. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, Mike Norvell, you know, he doesn't recruit the high school level. He gets it all done in the portal. That's his strategy. It's not really a strategy. I mean, you could say that was the strategy was true if he wasn't offering Keon Keeley and Quay Rousseau and Deuce Robinson and the top prospects at the high school level. He's offering all those guys, Tony Mitchell, Cormani McLean, like they're spending time, money, and resources going after them. They're just not landing them. So in an ideal world, so we can say 2 things at once. One, Mike Norvell is doing a great job of establishing the roster the way that he has to. And the way that he has to is through the transfer portal and making major moves. But eventually, the high school recruiting is going to elevate itself. If you win football games, continue to win football games, high school recruiting will elevate itself. You depend less on the portal. And also, I think the portal is really expensive. When we talk about NIL and all these things, these are the guys that are really getting the money because they're proven commodities, whereas the high school prospects, outside of the top quarter of a class, the bottom of the class, like, they're not making money till they get on campus to prove themselves. Like they'll have opportunities when they arrive, but they're not getting cash up front. Now, NIL transfer portal prospects, I think there's a lot more money being spent there.
Right, because they're proven commodities, like you said. And you just kind of touched on a little bit in regards to winning and things like that kind of helps recruiting. And a lot of people say the following class helps the best in regards to the previous season, right? So FSU is at 9 wins right now, currently looking for their 10th win against Oklahoma. How do you foresee? And also they're top 5, if I'm not mistaken, within the 2024 rankings, depending on what service you're looking at. Also, so again, speaking of that, so how do you feel like that translates to the 2024 class and how FSU, what's the buzz on the 24 class, what you're hearing in regards to FSU and how things could look within the future for them? Because I agree with you. Mike is trying to establish that high school dominance, but it just hasn't happened yet. I feel like a couple of years of FSU stink and of course some mishaps on the recruiting trail here and there is the culprit of that.
Yeah. And like, we just have to accept that things under Mike Norvell are moving in a linear upward trend, but it's not the upward trend. It's not vertical like fans want. Fans want things to happen right all at the same time. So you can do 2 things at once. Like I said, you can acknowledge that Mike Norvell's doing a great job, and you can also acknowledge that there's things that he still needs to do better to get Florida State to be ultimately where they want to be, which isn't celebrating a 9-win season. It's celebrating winning the ACC and competing for a national championship. Now, there's a reason why everybody celebrated this year, because if you've been a Florida State fan since anywhere around 2017, you've been through some shit. Yeah. and this is just one of those years that, Florida State fans needed to have a little release. They won 9 games. They beat both their rivals. There's a ton of room to get better on the recruiting trail, on the field, but step by step by step, Mike Norvell's proven that he's getting it done. Now, moving forward, I'm not going to get out here and say, yeah, I think Mike Norvell's going to compete for a top 5 class at FSU next season, because we haven't seen that yet. So we need to see him recruit a little bit better. I expect them to recruit better, but now you got to show me, because I know the portal's nice, but what are you doing all spring? If you're relying on the portal and you're missing every target that you recruit in the spring, then you're just wasting time. So I don't think they like wasting time, and I think they're going to recruit better in 2024. I
like it. Last thing before we get you out of here, Bird. Within the 23 class, do you see any surprises that could shake out down the stretch for signing day?
I think the Andy Jean recruitment looks really interesting. And how's it been, by the way, being on the podcast, winning 9 games? I mean, I wish I could have been on the podcast when both Miami and Florida missed the damn bowl game. So
man,
you must have just been having a damn field day out there. I'm sure that was fun.
100%. Then, of course, my first year was last year. We started 0-4, so that was tough as hell, right? Right, that was hell. So to see the complete 180, it's been beautiful this year, 100%.
That's funny. What do you think of Gator recruiting? I mean, they ran Dan Mullen out of town for a reason.
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job with UF in regards to building first off, he built a really good recruiting staff in regards to the off field. He's done a really good job in that. I think Napier identified the needs in regards to keeping up within the who's who of college football, right? You got to have a big staff. You got to have a big budget for the recruiting. I think not FSU. I think Florida put their money where their mouth is, and they're having the results. I mean, the on-field product hasn't been great by any stretch, but I got to give credit to when it's due. They've done a good job of recruiting, also learning from mistakes. Because you remember the Kearney recruitment, they were kind of bad mouthing Atkins and that type of deal, and Kearney pretty much mentioned that, and then a couple months later, he's on Florida campus, flipped to Florida. He's a Florida commit. So they're relentless on the staff. I will say that, but I think they're doing a good job in identifying what's needed to be competitive moving forward.
Yeah, they just sit at number 9 right now. Number 8 or 9 depends where you look, but they're
that's
number
pretty much
9
what Mullen was doing on an annual basis, though, right? But I guess Florida fans' gripe is a lot of players he brought in, which is fluff. They didn't make it in within the class. They never made it on campus at UF.
I don't think you should. But I don't think you should really compare Florida. Billy Napier's doing a much better job than Dan Mullen. But is he closing the gap on Georgia?
No.
Is Brian Kelly's coming in and he's making waves? You got Jimbo Fisher. You're about to have Texas. You're about to have Oklahoma. I mean, I wanted to see Florida close
Tennessee.
on it. Right. Yeah. Tennessee's woken up out of nowhere, out of their 20-year slumber. And, I thought the Samson Okunlola recruitment really could have paved the way for Florida to finish with the top 5 class. Like, you land Samson Okunlola, you land Mark Fletcher. It doesn't matter if you miss on Jordan Hall and Clay Rousseau and John Walker and Cormani McClain and Keon Keeley. But it starts looking funny if you miss on Samson. We'll see what happens with Mark Fletcher. I still think he ends up at Florida. But, Jordan Hall, if he ends up at Georgia, Desmond Ricks ends up at LSU, I don't know if that's the way you want to close if you're Billy Napier in year 1, especially with all the firepower around you. You're recruiting against the Kirby Smarts of the world, and you're trying to close the gap on your rival Georgia. I don't know if they're going to get it done. And you know what happens if you don't get it done in year 1? It doesn't get any easier in year 2 and 3.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good point. That's a very good point in regards to that. You have some misses within this class. Turn around next year, I don't feel like their roster is going to be in regards any better than what it was this year.
And now you're not getting that kind of like the hype and the sense of like, hey, we're just going to give you a pass for this. Like, and Billy deserves it. He's coming in year 1, but like I said, if that Samson Okunlola recruitment goes one way or the other, or the Cormani recruitment goes one way or the other, you're looking at a top 5 class. And now Florida is kind of hanging on. I mean, Andy Jean's in Tallahassee this weekend. Desmond Ricks is in Louisiana this weekend. Clay Rousseau is all wrapped up to Bama. John Walker sounds like he's staying home. Like
UCF.
It starts to get a little spooky, but we'll see. I mean, maybe they can pull out some magic. There's still 4 or 5 days to go, but it kind of looks scary over there in Gainesville right now. Not the finish that I was expecting.
Yeah, and then to combat that, also I believe this was the first year ever where they lost to all their rivals, to Tennessee, Florida State, Georgia, and LSU. That's really tough.
Yeah, and year 1 you get a pass on all that, but you go out and try stuff out in year 2, and I'm talking about a pass from the recruits. I know the fan base has been on their ass, but the recruits will give you a pass in year 1. That's why this class is so important. You want to see him do a little bit better than Dan Mullen did.
That's a very good point. I definitely appreciate you coming on, bro. Let the people know where they can find you at.
Oh, what is my new at? Because I talked to at Josh_Newberg. But you guys go to the On3 YouTube page. We've grown that thing insanely since the season started. We're having a blast on there, and we're going to have a lot of stuff going on all the way up until signing day. So, CJ, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you to everybody, the Big Three Roll-Up fans, the Roll-Up fans, everybody that has followed me through the years. I appreciate you guys, and I love you.
Yeah, most definitely, Josh. You got a lot of love in Nola Nation, man. I really appreciate you.
All right. See you, CJ.
All right, bro. Take care.
Bye.
All right, again, guys, if you would like this video. Hey, Steven, how you doing? Pretty good. If you don't mind muting. Okay, perfect. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, whenever for some reason we're having a little technical difficulties in regards to the echo and guests. So whenever whenever you speak, I'll mute. Whenever I speak, you can mute, that type of thing. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. We have Stephen Ponder here. He is the CEO and president of Seminole Boosters. It's a lot of excitement going on with Nola Nation right now. We have the breaking ground of the football only facility. A lot of buzz. It's been years in the making, Stephen. A lot of fans have been asking for this. This give us the story to how we got to this point and all the excitement that's going on within Nola Nation on campus within this groundbreaking event.
All right, so you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, there is a lot of excitement. This has been a multi-year project. It's been talked about for many years. And so, for us, with Michael Alford and the president and everybody involved with Florida State, we want to get this facility built and put it, in not in what's going to happen, what is happening. And that's why tomorrow is so important, to get the building started and not just talked about. So yeah, we're excited about it. I mean, you look across college football, staffs have grown. The number of student athletes on the football team are, pretty much the same, but the functions they do are totally different than what they used to be. So the buildings are all different, football only facilities, to train, it's amazing how much time, effort that they put in watching film, doing different things. And so we're really excited about getting the Dunlap Football Center groundbreaking tomorrow and get going.
All right, most definitely. And let's just talk about the infrastructure, right? It's something that we really haven't seen. We know that was something that I'm pretty sure you and Mr. Alfred struggled with. Is just the space around FSU campus, right? Look at a lot of the facilities around the country. They're pretty much flat. With this, a lot of space in regards to availability on campus. With FSU, we had to be a little bit creative, right? This is going to be a vertical facility. So let's talk about that and the planning that went into that in regards to, okay, we don't have the space to make it one level, but let's go up a little bit and make it vertical.
Yeah, I think that's part of, when Michael Alford got here and last year, but he started working with Coach Norvell on it, looking at different places and then talking to campus about where it fits. So as you know, we're going to have a multi-story building that is roughly 160,000 square feet, which is going to house everything that football needs. And part of with the limit that football has, and quite frankly, every sport has in terms of practice time, how much time, you can spend watching film and getting to and from. When you start adding up time to get to a facility, to a practice field, to all this, and you multiply it out over, a week or a month, every 5 minutes you can shave off really helps everyone just in terms of maximizing time. So efficiency is important. The facility of having team meeting rooms, if you will, the space that they have to watch film and then go out on a turf field and look at here's what we're seeing on film. All of that's important. Sports medicine's changed. The training room facilities have changed. And then, we'll backfill all of that with the Moore Athletic Center where football's leaving, and we'll go back in and fit as other teams expand and other departments in the athletic department move into the Moore Center. We'll upfit those, but from a football perspective, they're going to have everything they need now relative to the facility for training purposes, and it fits in a footprint for campus. And for us, the closeness and the proximity is actually a positive. rather than being spread out. So we're really excited about it being connected to the Dunlap indoor football facility right across from the Moore Center. It creates a really, really cool complex for us.
Hello?
I got you.
There you go.
I cannot hear nothing that's being said. Hey, my apologies, Mr. Ponder. I'm having technical difficulties on my end. I cannot see your screen or hear anything. My apologies about that. 1 second. Try to get this taken care of. All right, cool. My apologies about that. We'll try to get we'll try to get that taken care of. Steve, how's it going? We have Steve Poirier on now, my co-host in regards to the podcast we ran earlier, Unconquered Talk. Steve, how's it going? Oh yeah, most definitely. It's good. We had a lot of good talks in regards to those days. Just to talk about the season itself and pretty much everything we said, because we were one of the first advocates of Mike Norvell and things like that. So let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about that for a second, and just how we stood in the paint, going from 3 wins, 5 wins to now 9 wins, seeing the vision.
On a whole different level from what Fuentes was doing. And we saw that.
All right, we're getting these things. I'm sorry, we're having a little technical difficulty. Sorry about that, Steve. We're going to get you guys back on right now. Again, if you like this video, and subscribe to the channel, and also if you have any questions for Mr. Ponder or anything like that, hit the super chat and we'll get you guys going. Are we able to bring them on right now, Harlan and Taylor? All right, perfect. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Mr. Ponder, let's go ahead and get things started in regards to going back to the facility, my apology for the cutoff. We have some technical difficulties, but I'm not sure what part I missed you on. But just let's talk about the difference in regards to what's going to be different with this facility. I know Mr. Alfred has done a lot of work in regards to the stuff he did with the Cowboys facility and things like that. A lot of work Central Michigan as well. Let's just talk about what's going to be different in regards to FSU's facility versus the rest of the country. He's not on? Oh, there. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Sorry about that. Did you hear me?
Well, it keeps going back. Are you there?
He's there, this is me in the background. Just go ahead and,
Can you hear me?
CJ can't, but I'm in the background, so just keep going.
Okay.
All right, my apologies, guys. We have some technical difficulties. We'll go ahead and just get things going with Steve. Steve, go ahead, man. My apologies. We're trying to get that last little takeoff with Mr. Pond in regards to the facility. I know he has some good stuff that fans were asking for. But yeah, just going back to the situation in regards to the process that Mike Norvell has done within this turnaround within FSU, and just the belief from the beginning and what you saw that made you believe in Mike Norvell.
Yeah, just, obviously the X's and O's and that kind of stuff comes to mind, but, just the organization off field. And, we heard it from a lot of the Memphis players as soon as we hired Norvell. And even after we had some issues that first year, how much they believed in him and how much they knew he was going to set that culture. And, to have any kind of sustained program, like, it has to start with having the culture and the organization in place for what you want. And then on top of with that goes the players buying into that. And so without that, like, you might get some elite recruits and have some short-term success, but you're not going to have anything long-term. And Mike Norvell, you could hear from his first interviews and press conferences, is like, this has always been a long-term thing with him. He's not here to be, okay, I want to build like a 3-4 year, thing and then move on. Like, this is something he wants. And so it is something he was going to build. And you saw that from the very beginning. Like, he wasn't going to put up with all the crap. He got rid of all the stuff that he could, all the people and stuff that he could get rid of, and upgraded things and started building slowly towards that, and, I think that at some point it kind of shifted a little bit, because he's like, okay, well, we're going to have to start winning sooner to stay here. So that's when he started really hitting that portal hard. But, he's just been so good with his evaluations. And that's like what has really set him apart, is not just getting portal guys and not just getting high school guys, but finding guys who fit his culture, fit what he wants, fit his system, and fit that work ethic to build and to really, keep climbing. And so you could see, like, if you were really paying attention, you could see those things even in 2020 during the COVID year, that those things were being built. And it just takes a lot of forethought and vision to actually see what he was building towards, and just, but you had to have faith, because it certainly looked bleak in 2020, and even, at the beginning of last year, 0-4. Like it, there's times when I'm probably Norvell's biggest fan and believer, but there are times where I'm just like, man, I don't know.
Yeah. You still try to hold out that hope, and I understand that, especially after winning 3 games in 2020 and starting at going 0-4 and losing to Jacksonville State. Let's talk about this season as a whole. A lot of excitement, a lot of buzz within the preseason. Not necessarily from national media, and not even from own fans, but more so with people that pretty much saw the practices and the improvements. Like for me, myself, I went to a couple of practices, and not to say they look different, and just listening to the beat that went to the practices, say this FSU team could be pretty good. So let's just talk about this season and winning 9 games with the possibility of winning 10. Let's just talk about this season, your thoughts on the season.
Yeah, one of the first things, like, I thought we'd win, 8 games, maybe 7, if everything fell perfectly, 9. Never in my dreams that I think, okay, a lot of things would go wrong and we would still win 9. I didn't think that. But, whenever, I talked to you preseason, offline and stuff like that, texting about, what the things that you were seeing at practice. But, I talked to James Coleman, too. And I had talked to him last year, and he's like, yeah, you can see the culture stuff, like, and then I talked to him this year, at some of the practice that he was at, and he's like, it's different, man. He's like, it's different. That's when I really started, okay, I think I'm really, really believing that this team, but even more than that was, you could see the belief in Norvell, and you could see the belief in, like, some of the newcomers like Micah Pittman, and how he talked about Jordan Travis, and, just kind of like the swagger that this team had, and like the belief that they had in what they could do. And I think you're seeing that a lot now. Like, that's why a lot of them are choosing to come back, because they have that belief, and they know, like, we missed an opportunity with all those injuries in the middle of the season. And, like, I think they really, truly think they can make something special happen next year. And that belief in Norvell and what he has built, that's what these players are believing in themselves, believing in this program and what's been built. Like that, goes so much farther than anything. Whenever, for those that don't know, I coached CJ in high school, and, Coach Cruz and Coach Lanner, who were the head coach and defensive coordinators, one of the first things they taught me my first year coaching was, you can run any system that you want, offense, defense, whatever it is. If the kids believe in that system, it will be successful. It can be as outdated as you want it to be, but if they believe in it, it's going to be successful. And on the other end, it can be as cutting edge as it gets, but if they don't believe in it, you're going to suck. And, you could see the belief in the players in this system and what Norvell is doing, and you really see that now. So, that really set the tone for this whole season. And so that's when, bam, we beat LSU, and that confidence level even rose. Like, now it's not just faith. Like, we really actually can do this. And it just went from there. The injuries sucked, the Wake Forest game and NC State and Clemson game. But then, we hit that bye week, got healthier, and we just went on a roll. And, we could have a sorry game against Florida and still beat, Florida. That's something that it's just that confidence that, okay, even when things aren't going good, we can still win, we can still play good, and we can still make things happen, which we didn't have that belief, even last year, and definitely not 2020, not under Taggart, not at the end of Jimbo. We didn't really have that belief, that like that pure confidence in what was being done with the team through the coach, through the program, the strength and conditioning, even up the administration, the athletic director, and the booster organization. Like, there's just a complete buy-in to what Norvell and these guys are doing, and it shows on the field.
Most definitely. All right, Steve. Last take. What do you? I know you're going to be in Orlando for the bowl game, and come to hang out with the tailgate, bringing family. So let's talk about what you're looking forward to with the tailgate, and just what you're looking forward to with this bowl game in general.
Tailgate is, I haven't seen you since I left, which was 2008.
Yeah, 2000. Heck,
no,
2006.
Yeah, it was my last year. So, seeing you and I've talked to James a lot. I've never actually met James, and some of the other Twitter personalities that will be there, which I don't even know all who will be there, but being able to meet some of these guys and put a face to their Twitter profile, and so, I'm kind of looking forward to that, I've been on, kind of like a private message board. It used to be Knoll Digest. Now we've kind of, a small group of us went offside, and I kind of, been talking to them, but there's a few of them that I met, and it's always just interesting to me to put faces to, these internet names and stuff like that. It's always kind of interesting. And people are always way different in person, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
It's so crazy. People are just so way different in person. But so I'm interested in that, and this is, like I told you, this is my first game that I've actually been able to go to in person since Norvell's been here. It's probably the longest streak I've ever gone without going to a game in person. So I'm really excited just to be there, to watch it, to hang out with everybody, to, eat some good food, and, like I said, just hang out with everybody.
Most definitely. Well, Steve, let the people know they can follow you at.
Unconquered T, at Unconquered T is Unconquered Talk Podcast. That's where I talk most of the football stuff and, Florida State stuff. But, man, I don't even know what my personal ad is anymore. I don't know. What is that? Let me look that up real quick. It's
no problem at all.
At SPKnoll51. You can follow me there. I'll talk sometimes there, mostly just to mess with Sam. That's about it.
Most definitely. I'm glad you joined, man. It's been a pleasure. Sure. And it's much love. Like I say, it goes deeper in this Twitter stuff, man. We've been kicking it for a long time, so really appreciate it. And cool. Can't wait to see you in Orlando to hang out.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for having me on, man.
No problem. Again, and also like Steve just mentioned, in regards to the tailgate, we have the link in the comment section. Make sure you guys grab a ticket if you haven't already. We have the link in the comment section. Make sure you guys grab a ticket. Excuse me, if you haven't already. Nina, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm not doing well. I cracked my screen on my phone. Had to spend $181 today. I'm poor. I'm not wealthy like you.
No, I was about to say, you got it. That's not much to you, right? Let's talk about the season and what you think, Nina. I know we've been talking in the back. You've had you were believing in Norvell, and you had your doubts to try to hold on in belief in Norvell. Let's talk about the season and where you're at right now, and whatever take you want to get off. Let's talk about it.
I love my coach. I'm like his number one fan right now. I was mad at him last year, after we lost to Florida. Then, with Florida, Miami passed us and
Nina, you there? You kind of breaking up. You there? I have some technical difficulties with Nina. Again, guys, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Again, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys this evening. It's been really dope. We gotta do this a lot more often. Nina, all right, yeah. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys this evening. We gotta do this a lot more often. Really good stuff with James Coleman. Really interesting stuff with Ingram in regards to bringing light to battlegrounds. And of course, it's always good to hang out with Bird. Wish we was able to. We're gonna do another video. I'm gonna reach back out to Stephen Ponder. I want to fix right that wrong. I feel like there was a lot of stuff we didn't touch on that'd be good for you guys and get more information in regards to the football only facility. I think I'm really excited about that one. I think that's going to help us in recruiting and also just keeps up with the Joneses, right? Keeps up with the who's of college football. As you guys know, this type of stuff is ever changing. Hell, I think we're kind of behind the 8 ball, to be honest, because as soon as we get into our new facility, it's going to be some teams that's going to be complaining or wanting a new one or having upgrades to their current one. It's just the arms race to college football, but I do believe that Mike Alfred and company is going to have this to make this venue a cutting edge venue. It's going to be top of the line. Everything he's done in the past, as far as his track record, Central Michigan, Los Angeles Rams, Dallas Cowboys, et cetera, leads up to where he's at Florida State. to make me believe that everything he's going to do in regards to the facility is going to be top of the line, is going to be upper echelon. So it's not going to be any concern with that. Going to be interesting to see what new gadgets or what unique gadgets will be implemented within it, because just knowing Alfred, he's going to do something that's going to be different to set FSU aside from the rest of the country. So I'm definitely going to try to reach out to Stephen Ponder again to get him back on to talk about that. And also shout out to Steve, man, one of my previous fellow podcast hosts on Concord Talk, and my defensive coordinator on my JV team in high school. Shout out to him for coming on. Huge Noel fan, knows his stuff, and gets off real good takes in regards to football. Again, we're going to be doing this more often, Knoll Nation. Excuse the technical difficulties that we had in the middle. But again, like this video and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you guys grab a tailgate ticket. If you are in Orlando for the Oklahoma Bowl game, grab that tailgate ticket right now. You don't want to wait till the last minute, because once we get closer to the game, the price of the ticket will go up due to the demand, and making sure we have everything as far as supplies and things like that. If you guys got a beverage that you want to request, some specific liquor, beer, wine, whatever, let me know. Let James know. We'll definitely try to accommodate that for you guys as soon as possible. Grab a ticket in the comment section, or go to my Twitter page at CJWilson850. My pinned tweet is a link for the ticket. Again, Knoll Nation has been great. Go Knowles. We got a lot of excitement going on campus right now with some official visits under the way. We'll see how things turn out. I'm pretty sure you guys will be seeing me pretty soon.